Morning, everybody. Catmatt here, live from the Mississippi River. It's early morning. Sun is just starting to come up. I forgot my tripod, so this is going to have to do. I'm going to get set up here, fishing a little ditch surrounded by shallower water. Ditch has got a lot of big rocks in it. There's a lot of bait moving around today. So I'm going to get some baits in the water and we're going to see what happens. I'm seeing some moon eye busting the surface here. I picked up some balls of shad on the way up here. Got some really good bait. Let me get the mad cats in the water. Let's see what happens. I wish I could get you a better view, but at least this way I can see who's on here and talk. So I'm gonna get ready. Got some live shad. Got a few cut shad. Got bluegills. I'm gonna hook them shad real thin. I threw that shad out almost at a 90. I like them be able to kind of bounce down through there. Fresh cut bluegill. Guys, biggest issue with catching flathead consistently is just not paying attention to what the flathead are doing. You know, it's easy to get caught up, and I do it sometimes too, in the norms of what flathead are doing. You know, we get so used to summertime, 80-some degree waters, we got to throw live bait, yada, yada, yada. Fish do what the hell they want to do. And if you're catching fish a certain way, even though it might not be the conventional way of catching them, you better be paying attention. One of my favorites. About a 10-inch live shad. I love them bigger, but with a good sharp hook, you ain't got to put pressure on it. That Boss Cat J hook go right through there. Thin, I'm above the spine so I don't paralyze the fish. All right. Had one broke off here from last time. Go ahead and take care of this. It's early in the morning, you know, so I'm not necessarily targeting one individual piece of cover right now. Kind of in an area where, they could move in and out. We got a ledge on both sides, scattered rock. Good place to find one moving through, nothing real complicated. We got 4 pulls out the back. Big water, can be intimidating, hard to learn. If you grew up on a small river, I grew up fishing creeks and the Rock River, which is a small to mid-sized river. Easy to get frustrated. Just forget about the width of the river and maybe the deeper water, the wide channels, and just look for the same things you look for on a little river. Drop-offs, ledges, rock, wood. most of the time. It's real easy to intimidate yourself. Just Carolina rigging it today, 4-ounce no roll, Mad Cat's bead, Mad Cat's swivel, right down here to the Boss Cat J hook. Nothing like a good sized shad moving on a pole. I need to rig me up a few extra leaders because I know I'm gonna break off some. If I'm fishing right, I'm gonna break off some. Ain't no question about that. Some days you get a little luckier than others as far as break-offs go, but if you're fishing for flatheads and you're targeting them in the daylight, you should be breaking off. I mean, because you should be in the cover, which, like I just said, we're not necessarily in a bunch of cover, particular cover today, but there's scattered big rock everywhere on the bottom behind us, so we're going to hook up on some. You might not break off a lot, but ripping hooks through there and all that kind of stuff, you are definitely going to dull some tips. I carry a file with me, you know, run your finger over. I run my finger over the tip of a hook every time before I throw it out. You know, if I put super light pressure on it and it doesn't grab my skin at all, I'm either changing that hook out or I'm gonna just run the file over it. You know, they can get a little flat on the tip if you really have to yank them off a rock or something along them lines. So you don't want something as small as a dulled hook or something like that to cause you a fish. And I don't care what hook you're using, if you're fishing rock, there's going to be a time or two when you definitely rough up the tip of a hook. It's just going to happen. Now, the key to tying this no knot snell knot is keep them wraps off of each other when you're wrapping them down the hook. Keep them nice and uniform. That way when you pull it tight, you don't have a big clump of line, you know, it's a nice smooth knot. It's not balled up, and when you pull tight, it pulls tight. It's not pulling tight into itself and causing friction. That nice and even so that it cinches up nice and even. You don't have to trim that tag piece off, but I trim about half of it off. That's what it looks like when I'm done, nice and even. Okay. to rock and roll. What up, Catfish Hammer? Yeah, I am up here on the Mississippi River today, up north. I'm gonna try and catch a couple flathead this morning. Uh-oh. A live shad just got popped. I believe this fish might be laying here with the bait. A lot of times if you can just lift up a little bit till you catch up to the sinker. You know, a lot of times when you pull tight, you start to apply pressure to the bait. If he's there, you'll get some kind of a little reaction out of him. Yeah, there it is. This is a classic example of why I don't run a lot of circle hooks, especially for flathead. Moon eye just come all the way out of the water right there. Suppose I ought to be drifting some worms behind a bobber, see if I can catch a few of them. I was suspicious that maybe he was laying there with it, and I gave him a long time to move, and he didn't. So I went ahead and I was definitely sinker snagged on a rock for sure. He had probably grabbed it, pulled me over the rock, maybe had spit it out. I always have a bait rod ready. Because I do not have any moon eye with me right now. And I sure wouldn't mind. So I can sit here and keep a real good eye on the rods and drift a piece of a crawler through here. And I think I'll stick my bobber back on here though. That bobber on the surface, a lot of times you can kind of splash that around. They'll see that and they'll come to the bobber, and then they'll find your worm or your cricket or grasshopper or whatever you're using. Sometimes I'll leave the bail open and just let it float. got real good flow this morning. We deal with flow up here too, just like you guys down south, you know, on the Tennessee River system and stuff like that, where, you know, having some flowing water can make all the difference in your bite. It's not as, you know, with the flatheads, it's not as big of a deal, but I know down south in blue cats, makes a huge difference if you've got some flow. I'm gonna be patient this morning. I ain't gonna do a whole lot of moving around. Just gonna kind of hang out in a couple spots. Move these rods around a little bit. Got this little ditch here. I call it a ditch. And I come through this ditch, and as soon as it starts to shallow up, I'll get up and throw the anchor, float back, and then you've got, this ditch is 50 yards long with a ledge on both sides, and I'll get 3 baits kind of different distances right in it, and on the sides I'll throw right up kind of towards the top and just kind of slowly let them drag down the sides. And it's a really good tactic. You know, once you figure out that, you know, it's a good flathead area and it holds flatheads, it's a really great way to pick them off. Typically they don't mess around too much you know, when you catch them this way. One area in particular, I do get a lot of flatheads that just smoke it. In fact, sometimes at first initial, I'll think I've got a channel cat until I get them hooked and put a little pressure to them, and then they go into their typical what the hell's going on mode and just get to the bottom and just hold tight. Looking for a barge bite. Anyway, y'all, I hope you can use some of the information that I threw out there. I'm not going to sit here live all day, but again, I just like to share some things, and maybe they'll help some of you. But hold on a second, maybe I gotta wait. It looked like something might have bumped that. Yeah, I'll probably catch a fish the second I shut this off. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hope there's some things you can use or learn from it. If not, anyway, like and subscribe and share the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.